All right, guys, we're back on the ice, and that was a process, setting this thing up. It's the big one. I always say it's a process, but this time I made a time lapse so you could see 45 minutes shrunk down into 5 seconds. We're fishing, got the jaw jacker set up. Might as well have a line in the water while we're doing this. Brought the big tent today because A, it's super roomy, which is great. I don't feel so confined like I do in my other one, which is nice. It's a good size for one person, lightweight, blah, 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 all that stuff. When it gets to filming, kind of sucks. I wanted to test out a sled that I made as well with all of my stuff on it. I made a prototype of this sled last month and it stunk. Made it 24 inches tall. That is way too tall. It was real tippy. I had some crazy arm setup going off the side that I put the big tent on, which off-put the weight. Wasn't centered at all. When I was pulling it, it tipped twice. Second time it tipped, blew out both legs. Well, it worked until it didn't. You know what I mean? Sled was out of commission. Revamped the sled. We're in trial period number 2 with it, and it pulled like a dream coming out here. That's a plus. Today isn't only about trying that though. Today is also about trying these. Look at all this room. So nice. So nice. Real Hooks of Alaska hooked it up, pun totally intended, with what looks like some soft beaver tails. And then they have this jig here. It's feathers with a nice little blade on it. So multiple colors of each. I'm going to give it a go today and see if I can't pick up any fish. Hopefully we can fish better than this thing, because it's been sitting down there for about 15 minutes. Nothing. Fingers crossed we're in the right spot. Real Hooks of Alaska, I appreciate you for sending the care package. Looks like we should probably get the heater going again. We'll reel this up and get to jigging. So here's the update. I've been doing it for about 90 minutes. And in that time, I, on purpose, moved the tent about 60 yards down the shore, and then about 15 minutes later the wind decided to pick up, and I also had the tent move on its own this time about 8 yards back towards where I just came from. Just spent the last, I don't know, 15 minutes making sure this thing didn't turn into a kite, didn't set anything on fire, rearranged some stuff, not on purpose, but I've been jigging with a couple different things, no luck at all. I might have had a bite. I had the jaw jacker out in the elements and the hole froze, so that sucks because when I went and got it, the eggs that were on it were gone. For now, I think I'm just gonna let this thing fish for me for a bit, try and recoup and figure out just how I'm gonna get this tent down and out of this nightmare here in the next couple hours. Hopefully, in that period of time, I'll get at least a fish. I don't know. Things are sketchy at the moment. Jaw jack, do your thing, please. Woo! We're not getting skunked. There we go. Thank goodness. Not prepared. Don't even have the head GoPro on. Awesome. Thank goodness. This has been quite the day. Not the monsters that I hear about, but it's a start. See you, buddy. Good. Good, good, good. All right, we got a fish. That turns everything around. I think the wind might be calming down. We're going to stick with this. This has only been up for maybe 10 minutes, if that. As of right now, see if we can bring in some fish with some scent. Go from there. All right, we got one. Man, I thought I was getting skunked today. Let's get eggs back in the water. Well, I think that's a wrap. It's been 5 hours of this. I've moved 3 different times on my own, 4 including the windstorm. Had the 1 fish. Unfortunately, bait's not working, my go-to jigs aren't working, and the Real Hooks of Alaska little care package, nothing out of that seems to be working as well. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Across the board, nothing's working. One of the 2 things I'll at least get done, and that is testing out that sled. When I'm done packing everything up, I'll give you kind of a rundown of how the sled was made, how the frame was made, and how everything sits. I'm not completely done with it, but it's a lot better than its prototype. So if you guys have any questions on the sled, ask down in the comments. Pulls like a dream. When I was just pulling the sled by itself, the amount of surface area that thing had on the ground made it feel like I was just yanking it through mud. Anyways, let me pack this up and I will meet you guys out there and give you kind of a rundown of the sled. Whew, man, it is cold. Wind stops and then it just gets brutally cold. I figured I'd show you guys the sled here not loaded up. That way I can kind of show you what I did. We're not working around a whole pile of crap. I shortened the legs here, put them at 13 inches instead of 24. I put 2 bolts, nuts, washers in each leg, and then I got a Craig jig firing in some screws at a 45, and then on top of all of that, this L bracket here. These legs are not going anywhere now. For the sled itself, I put bolts in here as well to keep the sled in place. I then put these U-bolts here so that I can strap down with a tie down all my goods. Other than that, pretty simple wooden frame. Now for the skis, I put some heavy duty screws in right here, followed by 2 just deck screws, but these guys, they are solid. I had those L brackets right here running right here when that sled flipped the first go around. She didn't tolerate it too well. I figured they were a waste of space. Other than that, guys, real simple. Once she's loaded up, you don't even hardly know you're pulling anything, which can turn into a problem on the way back up hills, because as easy as she wants to go down them, pulling them up, she still wants to go down them. That turned into a bit of a process. You might need to come along. Get yourself some nice old skis, find yourself some 2x4s in the garage, buy the hardware, and you're set. I think it's -6. I can't feel my fingers. We're gonna call it a day. Sorry I only got the 1 fish. Still working on it, still a process. We'll figure it out sooner or later. Anyways, I gotta go pack that up. So until the next one, I appreciate you guys. Go save your backs. Go build a sled. It's the best thing you can do this winter for ice fishing. Promise you. All right, thanks again.